How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And on this NFL Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys have to go to ATL. Got to go to Atlanta to face them Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, in a must-win, in my opinion, game. So let's go over them real quick with a quick injury update before today's game. First, you got Deron Bland. He's not going to be back for this game. He has been ruled out. Kalen Carsons is unspecified. We don't know if he's going to be starting in this game or not, Cowboys Nation. Trayvon Diggs is questionable. Linval Joseph is questionable. Eric Kendricks is questionable. Zach Martin even, he is questionable. Micah Parsons, he will be missing this game against the Atlanta Falcons. Jordan Phillips, he will be missing this game against the Atlanta Falcons. And Nick Vigil is also questionable on the injury report for Week 9 going into Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. But another familiar name will be added to the inactive list this Sunday against the Falcons, and that's Ezekiel Elliott. We knew that Ezekiel Elliott didn't travel with the team down to Atlanta, stayed back at the Star for disciplinary reasons. We didn't know what those reasons were, but today, Jane Slater over on X, she actually gave her 2 cents from insiders in the building as to why Ezekiel didn't travel with the team. The tweet said, Ezekiel Elliott is a healthy scratch today, the first in his career. According to a number of sources, Elliott has been distracted this season. Aside from habitual tardiness, he missed 3 team meetings, with Friday's meeting being the final straw. Both parties decided it was best he didn't make the trip to Atlanta. Dalvin Cook and Rico Dowdle will be expected to carry the load this afternoon. #Cowboys. I don't know, Cowboys Nation. Maybe something else is brewing behind the scenes when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott, the running back room, and Mike McCarthy, as well as the front office. Everybody knew since that Ezekiel Elliott interview where he was dumbfounded about his participation and carries with this team, all of a sudden Rico Dowdle now is sick and Ezekiel Elliott is starting in the game against the 49ers. But something's being told, Cowboys Nation. In this tweet from Jane Slater, something is being said about Ezekiel Elliott's work ethic, and that makes me question the culture in Dallas. Has he been allowed to do this previously by Jerry Jones? Was that something that happened in the past that Jerry Jones intervened on? Because everybody knows that Jerry Jones goes to bat for Ezekiel Elliott. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about blind loyalty. Jerry Jones being loyal to Zeke. But it really seemed like the buck stopped this past week, Cowboys Nation. Something has happened, and Jane Slater has pointed out that there's been tardiness with Zeke Elliott. Tardiness to the Dallas Cowboys meetings, something that is desperate this season because the Dallas Cowboys team isn't doing good like they did last season. They are showing regression. Your quarterback has shown a dramatic regression due to the surroundings, the wide receivers, due to the quarterback. It's just a chain reaction, Cowboys Nation, and we are going to see an Ezekiel Elliott-less Dallas Cowboys today facing the Falcons. Will we be able to do it? Will Dalvin Cook be able to be that power back? Also, Cowboys Nation, this shows me that the coaching staff as well as the front office are on the same page when it comes to trying to chart another way with these running backs. Just because Ezekiel Elliott's on this team doesn't mean that he should be or will be the starter for this team. I was saying this back in the offseason. Just because Ezekiel Elliott came back to this team and he is one of Jerry's guys, that doesn't mean that he shouldn't have to fight for his position at the running back 1 position, that he shouldn't have to fight for his starting role with the Dallas Cowboys. I have been a proponent for this. If Rico Dowdle is doing better the previous week, you continue to go with the hot hand. That's like anything in sports, Cowboys Nation. If there's a basketball player that has the hot hand, like a Steph Curry, and continuously hitting from the three-point line, you don't take the ball out of their hands. You continue to feed them. So Rico Dowdle should have gotten that start against the San Francisco 49ers. But anyway, Cowboys Nation, this is super interesting going into week 9 of the NFL season. Right now, we don't have a running back one. We tried to do this running back by committee situation, and it hasn't panned out for the team. So my suggestion is that you find your thunder and lightning and you establish that thunder and lightning. Today, we're going to see if it could be Dalvin Cook with Rico Dowdle against this Atlanta Falcons defense. If the run game doesn't do well this week, then I foresee the order getting changed up to where it might be a Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott. If it doesn't work that week, the week after, I could see it being switched up to a Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook situation. Right now, we are in an experimental phase because we don't know what works in Cowboys Nation. All we know is that we have to establish the run game. We have to establish the run game, and Mike McCarthy has to stick with said run game. Even though the Dallas Cowboys are quick to get down on the scoreboard by 14 points, we cannot allow that early in the game to deter us from continuing to establish the run. Because if you establish the run, then you establish the play action, and they have to respect your run at that point. Right now, nobody respects us in this backfield. So what I'm thinking is that one of these running backs is going to have to establish himself to let the defensive coordinator know that you have to take account for me, to make the defensive coordinator have to stack the box so that your wide receivers can have one-on-one matchups on the perimeter, to be able to allow your line to settle in because they know what running back's going to be in the backfield. I believe that's one of the reasons why we don't have a run game, is because we try to force this running back by committee situation, and it's not allowing your offensive line to gel. It's not allowing your offensive line to get used to the back in the backfield and his tendencies and how the blocking scheme will affect him. But this whole Ezekiel Elliott thing, this is scary to me, Cowboys Nation. This is one of Jerry's boys actually having situations and issues in that locker room, as well as the meetings and being on time. How long has this been allowed? How long has Jerry Jones allowed this in the organization? Is this the first time that Zeke Elliott has done this? And according to James Slater, it is not. So something has to be done, and I hope this is an actual example of what happens if you are continuously late to meetings. What happens if you are undisciplined in your approach to be a Dallas Cowboy? We need to start letting these players know that if you get out of pocket, you will be benched, quarterback included. So, Cowboys Nation, I don't know what's going on with Zeke Elliott up in his mental. I don't know if it's the lack of carries that's frustrating him, or the lack of responsibility that he was told he was going to have coming back to the Cowboys and he doesn't have. I don't know what it is, Cowboys Nation. All I know is that this locker room is continuing to show cracks in the armor. From last year, it has shown even more cracks in the armor. We've added new rookies, but continue to have that armor that is cracked. And if we continue to go into the games like this, we're going to lose, Cowboys Nation. I'll keep it a buck with you. We are going to lose, and we're going to be looking forward to the 2025 NFL Draft, because there's not going to be anything to look forward to for the rest of this season. So right now, this is why I say the Atlanta Falcons game is a must-win. We have to go out there and show ourselves that we can compete. I won't say that we can compete for even a playoff position right now, because that looks grim in our future. But what I'm saying is to go out there and show that you can compete with the other NFL teams, with the other 31 NFL teams. Because if you can't compete with the lowest of the low, if you can't compete with a good team like the Atlanta Falcons, then this season's a wash, Cowboys Nation. I hate to say it, but I gotta keep it real, gotta keep it raw and uncut. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. How do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys going into the Atlanta Falcons game today and getting a dub? How do you feel about the running back by committee situation? Y'all know what we doing. Let's go ahead and talk about it in the comments section. If you're digging the content and want to help get it to even more Dallas Cowboys fans, drop a like on this video and share it with whomever you know is a Cowboys fan. If you are DC for life and you are with the Dallas Cowboys, no matter if they're 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl or they're 0-17 and getting the first round draft pick, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or Madden 25 and College Football 25 gameplay. Whatever is happening with our Dallas Cowboys is not a lack of talent. It's a lack of discipline. It's a lack of want. It's a lack of grit. It's a lack of wanting to be that dog to be able to bring a championship back to the DFW. I believe this season, this Dallas Cowboys team was not set up to actually make a run for a championship. It was set up to just be competitive. And with the lack of imagination and scheme, with the lack of establishing the run game, and with a lack of having more weapons than just CeeDee Lamb, we are seeing in real time Dak having to do more with less. The running back by committee isn't working, Jerry. Doing more with less isn't working, Jerry. What are you going to do to better the situation this year, or do you even care? But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan, and we'll see you after the game. Hopefully we're celebrating the dub. But I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.